has blighted the revolt in new estate. This is the sergeant, who like a brave and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king the knowledge of the royal as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do play together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for that the multiplying abilities of his nature do swim upon him. From the western isles of currents and gallows glasses is supplied, and fortune on his damn coral smiling showed like a rebel's word. But all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with brandished steel, which smoke of blood and execution. Like valor's women carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bathed their welter till he unseen them from the nape to the chaps and fixed his head on our battlements.
Valiant cousin, worth a gentleman.
As whence the sun begins his reflection, shipwreck in storms and direful thunder breaks. So from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had with valor armed to compel him, skipping currents to trust their fields. But the Norwegian lord surveyed vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons, or charged with double cracks. So they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell. Alas, but I am faint. My gash is my temper.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go get him surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through her eyes. So should she look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and ban our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by the most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict till that Bellona's bridegroom lacked in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons. Point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Oh, great
That
happiness!
now Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we dine in burial of his men till he dispersed at St. Holmes Inch $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall receive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine!
Sister, where thou? A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I, avoid thee which the rum-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master o' the tiger, and in a sea of all that of sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
Oh, I'll give you wind.
Thou art kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. The very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know with a shipman's card. I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Wearisome nights 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, wrapped as homeward he did come. A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weirdest sisters hand in hand, posters of the sea and land. Thus do go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace! The charms round up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen. How barbers called to Boras. What it is! So withered and so wild were their attire, that looked not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are odd.
Live you, or are you on the manly question? You seem to understand me, by each at once a choppy finger laid upon her skinny lips. You should be woman, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis!
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor!
All hail Macbeth! Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are you fantastical, or that indeed which I would that you showed? My noble partner, you agree with present grace, and great prediction of noble habit, and of royal hope that he seems wrath withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time, and say which grain will grow, and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors, nor your hate.
Hail! 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 Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
So happy, yet not much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Sinel's step, I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. And to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence. Why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic reading? Speak, I charge you!
The earth hath bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. What seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. But they have stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten of the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too. Was it not so?
To the so-saying tune of words. Who's yet?
The king hath happily received Macbeth, the news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal ventures in his rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, and viewing over the rest of the selfsame day, he finds thee in the stout Arrayed ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make. Strange images of death, as thick as hell, came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him.
We have sent to give thee to our royal master thanks, only to peril thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, tell most worthy Thane, for it is done.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help or vantage, or that with both he labored his country's wreck, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promise no less to them?
That trusted home might yet and come to you under the crown, besides Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes, to win us to our harm, that instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word I pray you.
True truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. The supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why have they given me earnest of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder is yet but fantastical, shaped so by single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partners racked.
If chance shall have me king, why, Chance may crown me.
You want
Yourself, my sir.
like strange garments, that cleave not to the mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
My dull brain is wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king, think upon what hath chanced, and at more time the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very well.
Until then, enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done on Cawthorn? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoken with one that saw him die, who did report that, very frankly, he confessed his treason, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like believing it. He died as one that had been studied in his death. Throw away the dearest thing he owns for a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. The worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before, that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your state and throne. Children and servants which do what they should by doing all safe towards your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There by grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys wanton in fullness seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes in you whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor, which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawthorn.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down or else leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye look at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
True, worthy Banquo. He is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet. Let's after him, whose care has gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I learned by the perfectest reports they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned to desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonders of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with, Hail King, which shall be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightest not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. And yet I do fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst hide me, that thou wouldst holily. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'st have great lungs, that which cries. Thus thou must do if thou have it. And that which rather thou dost fear fear to do than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical age doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who wert so would have informed for preparation.
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows have disputed him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make his message.
Give him tended. He brings great news. The raven himself is horse that approached the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gold, you murmuring ministers, wherever your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and call me the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen night see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold! Hold! Great gloves! Worthy Condor! Greater than both by the all hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Who never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my thane, is as a book, where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Their welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, the bee, the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. You shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall for all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air newly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest is summoned. The temple haunting Martlet is approved by his love manchery that the heavens rest most willingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor coin advantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreated prayer. Where they most bridge upon, I have observed the air itself.
See our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we think as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point twice done, and then done double, were poor and single business, to contend against those honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where is the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as a spur, hath holpen him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs in compt, to make their audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to my host. We love him highly and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
'T were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well 'twere done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence, and catch with this thirsty success that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here upon this vacant shoal of time we trump the life to come. And in these cases we still have judgment here. And we but teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He is here in double trust. First, as I am his subject and his kinsman, strong both against the deed. Then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-toned against the deep damnation of his taking off. Pity like a newborn babe striding upon the blast, or having seraphims forced upon the sightless warriors of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other.
It almost stopped. Why have you left the chamber?
Have you asked for me?
No, you not. Has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have got golden opinions from all sorts of people which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the whole trunk wherein you dressed yourself? Haven't slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale and what it did so free. For this time such I account thy love. Art thou feared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat and thou?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you brave this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Your time, your place did then appear, and yet you would make both. They had made themselves, and that their fitness does now unmake you. I have given some, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out that I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should
We
fail,
fail! But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him. His two chamberlains will eye with wine and wassail, so convinced that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a few, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When its swinish sleep their drenched nature's lies and death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon the spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
bring forth men children only. If thy undaunted metal should compose of nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dares receive it other? As we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death.
I am settled. Bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairer show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12?
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold. Take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that too. How heavy summer's lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restraining me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword.
Who's there? A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and set forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect. Which else should we have brought?
All's well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but so keep my bosom franchised, and if lead to clear, I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Go bid thy mistress. When my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as his sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, the false creation proceeding from the heat of blessed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as that which now I draw. Thou marshalest me the way I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else with all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade gouts of blood which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams amuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale in its offerings. Withered murder, alarmed by the sentinel, his wolf, whose house is watched, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take no horror from this time which now suits with it. Whilst I fret, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds, too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. Bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It was the owl retreat. The fatal bounding which gives the stern to night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited rooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I am afraid they have awaked. It is not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. I laid the daggers for me. He could not miss them. Had he not accepted my father as his lad, I could not. My husband.
I have done the deed. Did thou not hear noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended? Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
Foolish not to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh and sleep, and one cried murder that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but They did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
They're too lodged
One
together.
cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen thee with these hangman's hands. Listening to their fears, I could not say amen.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
Deeds was not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more! Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleep of care and death of each day's life. Balm of hurt mind sore labors back. Great nature sick and took, chief nourisher in thy
What do
speech.
you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more through all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep. Therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Let us cry! Why, worthy thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things? Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on the I dare
It's
not.
serve a purpose. Give me the daggers. Sleeping in the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the bases of the grooms with all, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I'm shamed to wear a heart so white. There's a knocking at the self-entry. Come, retire me to our chamber. Leave me then. Constancy hath left you unattended. More knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, or best not know myself. I have nothing with thy knocking! I would thou couldst.
Is the knocking indeed? If a man of a porter of Algate should have all turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time, have napkins enough about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith. Here's an English tailor come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Here's an equivocator that could swear and bolt the scales against either scale, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. No! Never is quiet. What are you? This place is unprovoked. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him, and it mars him. It sets him on, and it takes him off. It persuades him, and it disheartens him. Makes him stand to, and not stand to. In conclusion, it indicates him in a sleep, and giving in the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave me the lie last night.
That it did, sir. He's a very throw to me, but I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, though he took up my leg sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Malcolm has awaited. Here he comes.
Good morrow, little sir.
Good morrow, Will.
Is the king stirring, worthy thing?
No. Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know 'tis a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in, physics pain. This is the door.
I shall make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He didn't point so.
The night has been unruly. Where were there, our chimneys were blown down. And as they say, lamentings heard of air, strange dreams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events new hatched to woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
It was a rough night.
My unremembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror! 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 Tongue no heart cannot conceive nor enemy!
What's the matter?
Most sacrilegious murder hath broke up the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the building.
What is to say, the
You
light?
knew his majesty.
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with the new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak, see and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Malcolm the Donovan! Banquo, awake! Shake off this downy sleep! Death's counterfeit and look on death itself! Up! Up! And see the great moon's image! Awake! Awake! Malcolm and Banquo, as from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror! Ring the bell!
What's the business? That such a hideous trumpet calls to parlay the sleepers of the house. Speak! Speak!
O gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. Your repetition in the woman's ear would murder as it fell. O Banquo, Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Woe! Alas! What in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear God, I pray thee contradict thyself, and say 'tis not so. Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed life. For from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead, the wine of life is drawn. Mere lease is left this vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chambers, it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all bashed with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
For yet I do repent me of my fury. That I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outran the cause of reason. Your late Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood. His gas stabs look like breaches in nature for a ruin's wasteful entrance. steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain who had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love's known?
Help me! Heads up!
Why do you hold our tongues? That most maintain this argument for hours.
What should be spoken here where our fate, hid in an augury, may rush and seize us? Let's away, our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady, and when we have our naked frailty say that suffer an exposure, let us speak and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight with treasonous mouths.
And so do I.
So on.
So on. Let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
What will you do? Let's talk consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow as an office which the false man does easily.
All to England, to Ireland I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers amid smiles, the nearer blood.
This murderous shaft and shot hath not yet lighted. Our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of you taking, but shift away. There's warrant that death that steals itself, and there's no mercy left.
Why, see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas, the day. What good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still. Thriftless ambition that helps raven up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where's Duncan's body?
Carried to Colm Kill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors, the guardian of the bones.
Into Stone?
No cousin held to fight.
Well, I will do it.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old road sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's medicine be with you, and with those who think good or bad, and friends and foes.
Thou hast it now. King, Conor, Glamis, all as the weird woman promised. And I fear thou played most foul report. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the fruit and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why, by the very design thee made true, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Right here this afternoon.
I'm a good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice. We still have been both brave and prosperous in this day's council. But we'll take tomorrow. This far you ride.
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a barber of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fair not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their ears with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, adieu till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Ah, my good lord, our time is called upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be the master of his time till 7 at night, to make society the sweeter welcome. Ourself will keep till supper time alone, while then God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares. To that dauntless temper of his mind, he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being do I fear. And under him, my genius is rebuked as it said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they held him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my right, thence to be winched within a lineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filled my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered. Put rankers in the vessel of my peace, only for them, mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings. The seed of Banquo kings! Rather so, let fate come into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Come in, without there. Go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke?
It was, so please your highness.
Now, if you considered of my speeches, know that it was he in the times past that held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were born in hand, how crossed the instruments who wrought within, and all things else that might to half a soul and notion crave, say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so. I went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospel to pray for this good man and his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue you go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shops, water-runs, mules, are all clept by the name of dog. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that breaks them all alike. And so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it. Now put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, and grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were made perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on't.
Both of you know Banquo is your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrust against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will about it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, who love I may not drop, but wail his fall whom I myself struck down. Thence it is I do to your assistance make love, keeping the business from the common eye for it. sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our lives.
Your spirit shine through. Within this hour, I will advise you where to plant yourself. Acquaint you with the perfect spy time this moment on, for it must be done tonight. And something away from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness, and to leave no rubs nor boxes in the work. Cleon's the son who keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's. Must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll call upon you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight, abide within. Faithful of thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is faithful gone from court? Aye, madam, but returns again tonight. Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words. Madam, I will. Naught had, all spent, for our desire is not without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroyed than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? How sorriest fancies your companions making. Using those thoughts which should indeed reside with them, they think on. Things without a remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint. Both the worlds suffer. Here we will eat our meals in affliction, and sleep with these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better to be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace have sinned to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on. Gentle, my lord. Step over your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I. And so I pray to you. Let your remembrance apply to thankful. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while we must lay our honors in these flattering streams, making our faces visitors to our hearts.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his Cleons live.
Things in nature's copies not etern.
Discomfort yet. They are assailable, then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath blown his cloistered flight, ere to pale Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums, hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
The innocent of the knowledge dearest struck till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand, cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whilst night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
But who did bid thee join with us? Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day.
Now spurs the later traveler apace to gain the timely end, and near approaches the subject of our watch. Hark, I hear horses.
Use the light there! Hold!
Then to see, the rest that are within the note of expectation already are at port.
His horses go about, almost a mile, but he is usually. So all men do, from hence to the palace gate, make it their walk.
A light! A light!
'Tis he, stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down. Who did strike out the light? What's not the way? There's but one down. The sun has fled.
We have lost the best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society, play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. For my heart speaks they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon, we'll drink a measure, the table round. There's blood upon my face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the non-corral.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been made perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabin, crib, combined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenchy gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone, we'll hear ourselves again tomorrow.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, but is not often vouched. While 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home, from thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembered, sir. Now good digestion wait on appetite and health on both.
May it please your highness sit?
Have we now our country's honored roof, with the present person of our Banquo here, whom may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal company.
Table's full.
Here's the place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord.
Which of you have done this? Thou canst not say I did it! Never shake thy glory locks at me!
Gentlemen, rise, his highness is not well. Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon blood you will again be well. If much you note him, you shall avenge him and extend his passion. Feed in the garden hut. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one. The damn will come that which mine upon the devil!
Father, stop. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air drawn down which you sent them into Duncan. These flaws and starts and postures of your beer would well become a woman's story and a winter's fire, authorized by the grand dam. Shame itself, why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there! Behold, look low, how say you? Why, what care I? If thou canst not speak to, if charnel houses now in the olden times. Here the human statue hath heard the gentle wheel. Aye, incensed to murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear. The times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die and there an end. But now, they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Bring me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here, to all and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties in the pledge.
Avaunt, break my sight! Let me unhide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold! Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with!
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare, I dare. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros or the hurricane tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerve shall never tremble. Or be alive again and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling inhabit thee, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow! Unreal mockery, hence! Why so? Being gone, I am a man again. Pray you sit
You
still.
have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to that disposition which I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine are blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord? Pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once! Good night, and better help attend his majesty. A kind good night to all!
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move in trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by magpies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macbeth, the nicest person in our great city?
Did you send for him, sir?
Hear it, by the way. I will send. There's not one of them, but in his house I keep a servant's feet. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by the worst means, the worst! For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far. And should I wait no more, returning were as tedious as the war. Strange things I haven't had the will to have, which must be acted ere they may be scared.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come, go to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that once our use. We are yet but young, indeed.
Have I not reason? Buildings as you are, saucy and over-bold. How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art. And which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who as others do loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now, that you've gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and yourselves provide, your arms and everything beside. I am prepared. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and fatal end. Great business must be wrought therein. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop of bound. I'll catch it till I come to ground, and then still by magic sleight shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to this confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes of wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy. Hearken, and called by those spirits, see, sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me.
Come, let's make haste. She'll soon be back again. My former speech is half but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Sunken was pitied of Macbeth married, he was dead, and the rank valiant Banquo walks too late. Whom you may say is flees you Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damn in fact! How did it grieve Macbeth? Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was that not nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say, he has borne all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as an please heaven he shall not, they should find what were to kill a father. So should Fleance. But peace, for from broad words and his failed presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell me where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and has received the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff has gone to pray the holy king upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that by the help of these, with him above shall ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and banquets, bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report has to exasperate the king that he prepares for some attempt at war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute stern audit. The cloudy messenger turns me his back and hums as who should say, you'll rue the time that clogs me with his answer.
And that one might advise me to a caution to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this, our suffering country, under your hand at hers.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Thrice and once the hedge fig whined. Heard your cries, 'tis time.
elsewhere gaze. And now about the cauldron sing like hells and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Come now, you secret black and midnight cats, what is you do?
A deed without a name.
Conjure you by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it. Answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yesty waves from bound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lost and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's garments tumble altogether, even till destruction sicken. Answer me to what I ask you!
Speak! Demand!
We'll answer. Say if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call them. Let me see them.
Pour in South's blood that have eaten her 9 pharaoh. Grease, sweat from murderers, give it throw into the flame. Come high or low, thyself in office deftly show. He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth! 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 Beware of Macbeth! Beware the fang of fight! Dismiss me! Enough!
Whate'er thou art, thy good caution thinks thou hast harked my fears aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute, left to scorn the power of man, for none of woman-born shall harm Macbeth.
And live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? Yet I'll make assurance double sure and take upon the faith. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear in my eyes and sleep in spite of thunder. What's this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the rounded top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
You are bound, proud, and take no care, chase, or threats, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great burning wood to high Grissom hill shall put against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest? Bid the tree unfix his earthbound root. Sweet motivants. Good. Rebellion's head rise never till the wood of Burnham rise. In our high place Macbeth shall live the least in nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing more. Tell me if your art can tell so much. Shall Banquo's issue ever reign Saw you the weird sisters.
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damn all those that trust them. Did hear the galloping of horse. Who was came by then?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macbeth has fled to England.
Fled to England.
Aye, my good lord.
Time. Thus anticipates my dread exploits. The flighty purpose is ne'er o'ertook unless the deed goes with it. From this moment, let the very firstlings of my heart be the firstlings of my hand, and even now to crown my thoughts with acts. Be it thought and done. The castle of Macbeth I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babe, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like the fool, the steed I'll do before this purpose full, but no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are!
What had he done to make him fly to land? You must have patience, madam. He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors. No, not whether it was his wisdom or his fears. Wisdom! To leave his wife! To leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in the place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch, where the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in the nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason. My dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further. But cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves. When we hold rumor to what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you. Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless. I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer? It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once. Sirrah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you?
As the birds do, mother.
What with worms and flies?
What I can get. I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'st never flew the net nor line the pitfall jib.
Why should I, mother? Poor birds they're not sent for. My father's not dead for all your sake.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
And you'll buy 'em to sell again.
Thou speakest with all thy wit, and yet faith it would not for thee.
My father a traitor, mother.
I then was.
What is a traitor?
fame. I am not too known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not bound here. Hence with your little ones. Fright you thus methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you with full cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm!
Yet I remember now I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable. To do good sometimes accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say I have done no harm? What are these faces? Where is your husband? I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest! Thou shalt him, villain! What?
You egg, young fry of treachery.
He has killed me, mother. Run away!
What I believe, I'll wail. What no believe, and what I can redress. As I shall find the time to, friend, I will. What you have spoken may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you, yet I am young. But something you may deserve of him, through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil at an imperial charge. But I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul, will wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness? Left you wife and child. Those precious motives, those strong ones of love, without leave to you. I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basis sure. For goodness dares not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs. The title is a fear. Hear thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkst, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think with all there would be hands uplifted in my right. Yet from here, gracious England, have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, that I should forge quarrels unjust.
Who should he be?
It is myself I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice, so grafted that when they shall be opened, Black Macbeth was seen as pure as snow. The poor state esteemed him as a land, being compared with my confineless horrors.
Not in the regions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned than eagles to top Macbeth.
I grant him plenty. Luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there is no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust and my desire. All constant impediments that impose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough, there cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows, in my most ill-composed affections, such a stanchless avarice, that were I king, I should cut off nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more have would be as a sauce, to make me hunger more. That I should forge quarrels, unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows a more pernicious root than summer seeming lust. It hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath poisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces has justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several tribe, acting it in many ways. Nay, had I power, I would pour the sweet milk of Concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
O Scotland, Scotland.
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I spoke.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptered, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils that thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. O my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains he hath sought to win me into his power. But modest wisdom plucks me from overcredulous haste. God above, deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction. Unspeak mine own detractions. Here endure the taints and blames I lay upon myself. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile.
Well, more anon. Comes forth the king, I pray you.
Aye, sir. There be a crew of wretched souls that say it's cure. Their mouth be convinces, if it's great to say of art, but at his touch, the sanctity hath heaven given his hands. They do amend.
I thank you, Doctor.
What's the disease he means?
'Tis called the evil, a most miraculous work in this here good king, which since my hero made in England, I seen him do. But strangely visited people, all swollen and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye. The mere despair of surgery he cures, hanging golden stamps about their necks. Sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know her not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know her now. Good God, the times remove the means of bigger strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did?
And our country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother but our grave, where nothing and who knows
my wife?
Why, well,
And all my children?
well, too.
The tyrants is not battered at the peace?
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them. When I came hither to transport the tidings which I have heavily borne, there ran rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland will create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort. We are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good steward, and 10,000 men, an older and better soldier, none that Christendom gives out.
But I could answer this comfort with a like. But I have words that would be held out to the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe. But the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered, and to relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What man? Ne'er pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the overfraught heart and bids it break.
My children, too?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from this. My wife killed, too?
I have said,
Be comforted. Let's make us medicine of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones? Did you say all? Oh, how kind. All? What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff. They were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Then rest them now.
Be comforted.
One can play the woman of mine eyes, braggart with my tongue. The gentle heavens cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length set, and if he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This June goes mad. Come, go eat to the king. Our lack is nothing but our relief. Macbeth is ripe for shaking. The powers above put on their instruments. With seed what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
There's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh. Oh.
What a sigh is there. Heart is sorely charged. I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body. Well, well, well. Pray God it be so. This disease is beyond my practice. If I had known those which have walked in their sleep would have died hollowly in their beds. Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, make clothes buried. He cannot come out unscathed. Even so. To bed. To bed. He is knocking at the gate. Come. Come. Come, give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. We should go now to bed. Directly. To bed. To bed. To bed. To bed. Foul whisperings out above. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to build deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. Morning she will divine her physician. God for himself. Look after her, and remove from her means of all annoyance, and still he lies upon her. So, good night. My mind she has made it, at least my sight. I think I dare not speak. Good night, good doctor.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burning them for their dear causes would, to the bleeding and grim alarm, excite the mortified man.
Near Burnham Wood. Shall we go meet them? That way, are they coming?
Who knows if Donald may be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many are refused that even now contest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane who strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad, others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distant cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murder sticking to his hands? Now mutiny revolts a brave his faith for each. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him? Like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestilent senses to recoil and start when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and with him pour we on our country's purge, each drop of us.
For so much as it needs to do the proper flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Burnham.
To Burnham Wood, removed to Dunsinane, I cannot take with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Imply false things, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sack with doubt, nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee, black thou cream-faced loon! Where gotst thou that goose look?
There is 10,000.
Geese? Villain?
Soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face, and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers catch? Death of thy soul! Those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers weigh face?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence! Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever or deceive me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf, that which should accompany old age as love, honor, obedience, troops of friends. I must not look now, but in their stead curses, not loud, but deep. Mouth honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What is your gracious pleasure?
But news more.
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Bring me mine armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses, skirt the country round, hate those that talk of fear. Bring me mine armor! How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind disease? Pluck from the memorial root and sorrow. Raise out the written troubles of the brain with some sweet oblivious antidote. Cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs. I'll none of it. Bring me mine armor. Give me my staff. Satan, sent out! The thanes fly from me, doctor. Come, sir, dispatch! If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water on my land, find your disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I should applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say! What sin out rhubarb, or what purgative drug would scour these English hints? Hearest thou, then?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I cannot take with fear till Burnham Wood removed to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousin, I hope the day of your family feels to be straight.
We doubted nothing.
What wood is this before us?
So would have Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough, and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the number of our host and make great discovery. Aaron report of us.
Shall be done.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt. And none serve him but constrained kings, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we our industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Not speculating if their unsure hopes will wait, but certain strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war.
Take out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still they come. Our capital strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here, let them lie till famine and age can eat them up. Were they not forward with those that should be ours, we would have met them dareful beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What's that noise? It is the cry of women like a bird. I have almost forgotten the taste of fears. The times have been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek. My fellow bear would have a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life or end. I have supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps This petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out. Out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon, methought, the wood began to move.
Liar!
Let me endure your wrath if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakest false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost as much for me. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of this fiend that lies untrue. Fear not till Burnham woods do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes to Dunsinane. Arm! Arm it out! If this which he about is does appear, there's nor flying hence nor tearing here. Begin to be aweary of the sun, in which now the estate of the world were undone. Ring the alarm bell! Come wind! Blow wrath! At least we'll die with harness on our back!
Down here enough! Leave these screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, show with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macbeth shall take upon what else remains, according to our order. Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give in all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
The sun!
They have tied me to a stake I cannot fly, but bear like must fight this course. What's he that is not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear, or none.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
Know that thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
No, nor more fearful.
The devil himself cannot pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
My name is Macbeth.
Thou liest, a poor tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
Thou wast born of woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn. Brandish my man that's of a woman born.
That way the noise is. Tyrant! Show thy face! If thou be slain with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike the wretched kerns whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbatted edge I sheathe again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, one of greatest note seems brooded. Let me find it, fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord. The castle's just surrendered. The tyrant people on both sides to fight. The noble dames do bravely in the war. The day itself almost professes yours, and little is to do. We have met with foes who strike beside us before. Enter, sir, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on my own sword? Will I see lives the gashes do better upon them?
Turn. Hellhound, turn.
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but give thee back My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. I have no words.
My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out!
The entrenched air with thy keen sword impresses make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crest. I bear a charm in life which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel that thou still hast served to tell thee Macbeth was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believe that palter with us in a double sense. And keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rare monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield. Kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham Wood be come to Dunsany, and thou oppose being of no woman born, yet I'll try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macbeth, and damn be him that first cries hold! Enough!
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived until he was a man, in which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought. Like a man, he died.
Then he is dead?
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his work, for then it hath no end.
Had he his shirts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. He's worth more sorrow than that I'll spend for him. He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. And so, God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, who speak their salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire